So where do the models come from? And that's what we're looking at here. How do we know what type of model it's going to be? Is it going to be a linear model or an exponential model or a logarithmic model? So here's what they do. The three models that are probably the easiest to identify are linear, exponential, and logarithmic. And we go by the graph. So if it's making, a line or something like that, if your data points are making a line, then you're going to think, oh, it's maybe a linear model. If it's exponential, it's either going to look like this, or an increasing one, or a decreasing one, right? And a linear model could go the other way as well. If it's logarithmic, it's either coming up and going like that, or it's coming down and going like that. Yeah. Okay. Usually it has to do with this one, is what I'm thinking on that. Okay. So where do the data points come from? Well, they have to go out and they have to collect data, and they get points to represent that data. When they plot those points, it's called a scatter plot. So, and you usually need like a lot of data points, but they could come back and they have all these data points, comparing two things. And maybe it looks like, all these data points that they graph, maybe looks like that. And so they say, oh, well, that looks kind of linear, so we think it's going to be a linear model, okay? But if their data points looked like, this, where it was going up quicker, then they might think, oh, it looks like an exponential model. Okay. Just a couple things on vocabulary. Concavity. So if you have these points that you're graphing, and you take a point here and a point here, and you were to draw a line, and you said, oh, it looks like I have a lot of points beneath the line, below the line, then it's said to be going this way, and that's concave up. So the concavity is up, like a cup, okay? But if you had it going, if your data points looked something like this, you have to picture they went and got a lot of data, and then they plotted these points. And so you take 2 points and you're saying, oh, it looks like they're mostly above the line. Then that would be concave down. And then one other vocabulary thing they threw in, I just want to point this out. So say you have, we were just talking about a logistic growth model. Okay, it starts out concave up, right? It's like an exponential curve, right? It starts out that way, but then it levels off. Well, this point where it changes concavity, that's called a point of inflection, okay? So I just wanted to bring up some of the vocabulary. We're not going to do the scatter plots. I mean, you'd have to go out into the field and get all this data and bring it back and then do a scatter plot. But they'll give us some information so we can show a little bit of what's going on with the models, okay?